All right. Welcome back to Beyond the Bend. Tonight we have Anton all the way from Sweden here, a person I've wanted to get on the show for a long time. So welcome to the show, Anton.
Thanks, Cody.
All right, let's start it like we always do. Tell me about the first time you saw someone bend a piece of steel.
I actually don't remember the first time I saw anyone bend a piece of steel, but like 2009, I got into like grippers and rolling thunder and that kind of stuff. And I don't know how, but I got in contact with bending. Like I knew that it existed, so I tried like nails that were laying at home with just working gloves. So that was probably the first like interaction I had with with steel bending. But the first time I really got into it was 2018, and then I hit up David Wigren and asked him for advice. So he told me to order 5mm stainless, cut up an old pair of jeans, and just bend double overhand. And I did it. It was really easy for me, and immediately I ordered 6mm stainless, cut up to 7, 6, and 5 inches, and it also worked really well. So yeah, that was about it.
Nice.
That's how it started.
And back in 09, when you were getting into the grip stuff, what was the motivation to explore grip? Just like something to do, or what, did it have some type of was it other training that you were doing that sparked that interest?
Well, it was the first public gym that I was training at, had Captains of Crush and
Oh, cool.
Rolling Thunder, so I tried that out and I really liked it. So then I bought my own like grippers, and my sister's husband, he was a welder at the time, so he made me some grip tools and whatnot, but I didn't really get into it back then. I started powerlifting at a time, and grip was just a side thing back then.
Right.
And I did not know about grip board or the sport per se. So
And how did you come across David Wigren?
it's a Swedish forum,
Okay, cool.
for
Nice.
all kinds of power sports.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, so take me back through your athletic background. Were you always into sports and stuff growing up as a kid, or was it something you strength discovered as you got to be an adult?
It's a hard question. Like I did soccer and ice hockey as a child up till about 13 or 14 years of age, but that was no passion of mine. But I really liked snowboarding.
Cool. Yeah.
And like at the age of 12, I started working with weights, really casually, So I guess working with weights is my background, and like a little bit of competing in powerlifting as a junior. But it was like at a really, like when I started powerlifting, it was really small sport.
Right.
You could not compete without suits. So it was like a circus sport, not like today.
Right.
But that was the part that I really loved about powerlifting. All the technical stuff and all the to use the equipment to your advantage. I really liked that.
Yeah. I guess I'm assuming that was like pre CrossFit boom. So it was before it got
was
like
2008, 9.
Yeah. So yeah, before it kind of really caught on. Still pretty niche at that time. Did you continue on snowboarding?
No, that was something that I stopped at about let's say 16.
Oh, really? Have you ever jumped back on the board as an adult?
Occasionally on like vacations, but it's like super casual.
Right.
To injure yourself.
Oh yeah. All right. So talk me, obviously you took to the bending. You
Yeah.
took David's suggestion and you ordered up to stainless. So talk me through your progression from there. Obviously you caught the bug and started doing well. So you went from that bit of stainless in the beginning with a cut up pair of jeans, and how did you start to progress from there?
It was really slow at the beginning, the first year, because like 2018, there was no one bending. There was so few people bending then, and I don't think I put a lot of work into searching up, active benders.
Mhm.
So it wasn't like gripboard. Bending on gripboard was completely dead back then.
Wow, really?
And that was like the main place where I was searching for information also.
Mhm.
So it took about a year before it really got started for me. Like almost in the same period of time that Horido started his like cert,
Cool.
because that was a big boom, I think, for bending. A lot of people started being more active.
Yeah.
And I think I tried my first horseshoe summer of 2019,
Okay.
and it was a Kerkart TDR size 2. And that was easy bend for me, even the first time I tried it with no like technique of wrapping or anything.
Mhm.
And then I did all the sizes of the TDR down to 000. But here in Sweden, it's really hard to find shoes from there that is not elite shoes.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't get into horseshoes then because I ordered shoes that I thought was going to be good, no movement at
Mm.
all.
Yeah.
And also I was not conditioned. So when I was doing the hit for the kink, my rib cage, like between the chest muscles, it
Mhm.
felt like it was cracking,
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, no, I'm not having this. And then I don't know how much later, maybe half a year or something, I asked David, like, what shoe can I do now? I haven't been able to progress anything in quite a while. So then he said, order the SSP number 3. It's
Uh-huh.
22 millimeter wide and 8 millimeter thick. And then he told me to do isometric kinks for 6 months with that shoe. And I was like, oh, that don't sound like a lot of fun.
Right,
but
exactly.
I ordered it anyway, and I almost finished it first attempt.
Oh, nice.
So that was like a huge thing for me. And then it just went really smooth from there up till the level I am like now. Now I have now it's slowed down or almost stopped.
Uh-huh.
So I have to work for it now.
Nice. And were you still, so what about the double overhand? How did that kind of go? Did you was that simultaneous to the horseshoe progression, or?
Now the double overhand was was earlier, and like in the beginning, I was like one layer of jeans pad. It's like less padding than one Ironman pad, you know.
Sure, yeah.
Um, so then I started, because I didn't know anything back then. Then I took like 2 layers of jeans and 3 layers of jeans. And when I took like 3 or 4 layers of jeans, I could bend 8 millimeters hot rolled steel.
Yep.
So that was also like I was so happy when I did that, because the size difference from 6 to 8,
Yeah,
that's massive.
sure.
Um, but then I did not have like the 8 millimeters cold rolled steel in Sweden is much harder than a red nail, like much harder.
Yeah.
So when I bought that from and was trying to go from 8mm hot rolled to that 8mm cold rolled, there was just no way. So then it took like a die. I could not do much with that. But then later I ordered from Italy, Giorgio.
Right. Cool.
So that was a good like piece of steel for me to get in between.
Yeah.
And then then I got his stainless bars also.
Yeah.
So like his stainless bars and the A2 at 5.5 inches is probably my best bends that I've done a double overhand.
Right. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. We should take a quick moment to just remind people to check out Harito's site because he is a supporter of the show. If you're going to order, make sure you use promo code CHEERS to save a little bit on your order, and some of that will come back to the show because Jan's the man. And obviously that's a great cert with all the style certs, including snapping and brace bending. You're on a couple of them, right, Anton?
Yes, I'm on everything except double underhand, snapping, and barehand.
Nice. Yep, the bare hand. I still got
Yeah.
but I've held that 4.8 in my hand with my hands chalked up, and I'm just like, oh my God, I don't know about this.
Yeah, I think you need something to work up to that one.
Yeah. But hopefully one day that's beyond all of
for
those.
sure.
I believe Josh Goldthorpe is the only person to have all the certs at this time.
Yeah. I think if you can get like a really strong double underhand strict style
Yeah.
with lesser padding, it's not impossible barehand.
Yeah.
Because once it goes, it's an easy bolt.
Yep.
Then just work really fast.
Yeah.
Like maybe I will never do it, but I think it's for sure possible.
Yeah. You've been doing some minimal padding bending lately, right?
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of it. Like that's probably, or it's better for me to do it double overhand with less padding than double wrapping or even single wrapping, because my neck and chest, shoulders gets really irritated by the big pads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any goals for that? Anything specific you're working towards?
Well, one goal is the A2 bolt at 6 inches.
Nice.
I recently did it in 6.5 inches. And it was kind of close to max effort, but it's mainly pain in my knuckle from the index finger on the left hand that is stopping me.
And what kind of wrapping situation are you using, just so that people understand what kind of level of wraps? It's just a cut down iron mine pad, or
no, one iron mine pad.
Oh, single. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Rolled up.
Yeah, gotcha.
Across the entire bolt.
Like a cigar or something. Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
That is very tough. I can't even imagine that A2 bolt in a single wrap.
Well, I think you would do it easily because A2 bolt is not a lot harder than the A4. And I saw that you done the A4, right?
I did, but I did it in the wrong wrap. I didn't know it needed to be the iron mine pad, so I did it in like a Bender's Battlefield pad.
Oh, I see.
But I have another A4, so I plan to do it in the single iron mine pad one of these days when I feel like my hands should hurt. But
I will do it.
Yeah.
Sure. It's a lot of fun. Also, I went down to 1/3 of one iron mine pad and bent at the best bend in those conditions were like a nail 7.5 millimeter at 175 millimeter long. Like that's 7 inches basically.
Yeah, gotcha. Wow. Jeez, 1/3. Yeah, that's like nothing.
Yeah, like Don and some other guys spent bastards and red nails in 1/3.
I know.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. It's very crazy. I was actually playing with the final leg of the Usain Bolt off for David Horn is snapping the head off of a grade 5 bolt and then bending the remaining probably 4 inches to 2 inches or less, creating the tree shape, right?
All right.
For Christmas.
Yeah.
And bending that 4-inch snapped piece of grade 5, even braced, was like so crazy painful. And just David Horn raps, it was nuts.
Yeah, that sounds really hard.
Yeah,
for sure. I never tried the grade 5 or grade 8 bolts.
Oh
actually.
man.
So I don't know how they feel like.
They're cool. You should order them. I mean, like the grade 5 is a little weaker but more durable for the snap. It flexes more and hangs on a little longer. And then the grade 8s are more rigid but snap faster, and they like basically explode when they pop really loud when you snap them. And I think Josh in his last video like cut his shirt when he was like pulling it across, and they snap pretty aggressive. I've definitely like tweaked my elbow when they come apart. It's but they're fun to snap. You can snap them pretty fast when you work on it.
Unexpected snaps are not fun.
Yeah, that's I've seen some videos.
Yeah, I tried like a very thin horseshoe. I thought I bought like 2 horseshoes that I was planning to give to my girlfriend so she could try to bend a horseshoe.
Yeah.
But I felt like I need to try one first to see like how they behave. And like during the kink, I felt like it was, bouncy in a way. So when I was doing the leg crush, it just like exploded, snapped. So I was like, yeah, this is not for bending. And it was really tough too for the dimensions. So it was really weird shoe.
Interesting. It was like some weird metal or something.
Yeah.
So obviously you got pretty into bending and you've stayed around, longer than a lot of people do. So what is it specifically about bending, if you could put into words, that just keeps you doing it? You said recently that it's really the only type of training that you're doing. So what is it about the steel bending that you get so much out of?
I just love the battle of it. That you can battle with one bend for an hour or more. Like I've done that so many times, like just pulling and pushing on stuff for 1 hour.
Yeah.
And you see like it comes a little bit more like millimeters by millimeters. And that's and it's so rewarding when you actually finishing it. Like imagine the feeling of if you could finish a lift with a barbell in 1 hour struggle.
I know.
It doesn't exist, but in bending you can do it. And I really like that. And also one thing that I like with bending is that there's almost never any like long movements. And because I never felt strong in like long dynamic movements.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
What do you actually mean by that? Can you give an example?
Well, like let's say when you're kinking a horseshoe, like you barely move your body.
Yeah. Okay.
You're doing like so small like motions, and it's just like with you said 1,000 times on the pod. It's like just to build up body tension,
Yeah, like isometric contraction, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And when I was doing like lifts with barbells, I really liked the partial lifts.
All right.
I thought those were really fun to do. So yeah,
that makes sense. I mean, there's we've seen a lot of people within the realm of bending and strongman training do really well with partials. Former guest Darren Shallman obviously was done like a 1,200 pound partial deadlift at like
that's crazy.
170 pounds and 5'5" or something like that. It's like totally insane.
That's incredible.
Steve Weiner has done squat supports, partial squats. Yeah, so I could definitely see the carryover. And last week when I spoke to Tom, it dawned on me about like
Which Tom?
Tom Morris.
Okay.
Um, so we were talking about just that, and you kind of touched on it about it being a prolonged experience. Was that like it's kind of neat in a bend that you can give it all you have and then it moves just a little bit, and then so it's like the joy and the excitement of hitting this PR is drawn out over a period of time, whereas just like a squat or deadlift PR is just up and down and then it's done. It's like kind of neat. It makes for a longer experience, which is when it's doing something that pushes your limits. That's a really nice thing.
Yeah, for sure. I agree.
So how about specifics on training? Do you have any structure to your training? Have you ever, like, what's your training look like?
I have very poor structure to my training. I just follow like my heart, if you want to call it that.
Sure.
Like if I want to do something, then I do it. Like I'm really bad at making a plan and sticking to it, because if I'm starting to lose interest, then it's better for me to just work on something else.
Sure. Yeah.
So I basically do what motivates me, and
Yeah.
this is probably not a good thing, but I always go max effort, basically.
Mhm.
I would say
I think
maybe yeah, go ahead.
I think that's not a bad thing. Obviously, you've been doing this for a few years, so it's like I think that only becomes a bad thing where, I mean, in my experience, was just too much of that. It's like you can't really do that level of pushing your body every other day or something like that. And it seems like
No, that's true.
let's talk injuries next, because at least from what I observe, you've been able to stay somewhat injury free, right?
Yeah, that's kind of true. Like when I was really pursuing a double overhand, then my elbows like were not good at all, like really inflamed. So, but the other styles, it's easier for me to do like a lot of like horseshoe training than it was doing double overhand.
Yeah.
And also, when you're doing the leg crush on top of the leg,
Mhm.
like a couple of months back, I got a really weird feeling in my leg. Like if I put tension on it, it felt really bad.
Oh,
But
wow.
if I was just going on with everyday life, I didn't feel anything. But if I took like a really easy horseshoe and put it on top of my leg was just like, no, don't do
Wow.
anything. So I think I got a lot of tweaks and like bad feelings on different parts of my body. But by then I just like shift my training.
Uh-huh.
And I'm not good at like definitions of injuries and
Yeah.
that kind of stuff, but I have never gotten an injury that stopped me completely from any type of bending. So nothing serious, at least, but
Yeah.
a lot of the times I have like uh, pain in multiple areas,
Yeah, I think
but
that's
that's part of the game, I guess.
definitely. I think I
Yeah,
think that's true. Yeah, I kind of mean something that would take you away from being able to do any type of training.
yeah, no, nothing like that.
That's good. Did the leg resolve itself, or you
Yeah,
think it was just like a
it's
nerve?
better now. I just started working on some like leg crushing again.
Yep.
And I've been listening to the episode with Andy Thomas, right?
Yeah.
And he was talking about that he had like a poor finish to the horseshoe,
Yep.
and that he like went in a couple of times a week or so and did like medium um, effort isometrics on the crushing phase. And
Yep.
that's probably what I'm gonna try to do with
Cool.
my horseshoe training right now, because the kink is no problem. So there's no point of me bending unbent shoes right now. I should just like maybe do some snapping and then finish with the ISOs on the horseshoe crush, and hopefully in a couple of months or so I could finish the SSP 000.
Nice.
That's my goal.
Nice. How many days a week are you bending these days? You said you kind of play it by ear, but
Yeah,
what does it work out to be? Like twice a week?
usually twice or 3 times a week. Sometimes maybe even 1 time a week, but usually 2 times a week.
Cool. Yeah, Andy's a great guy, very strong
Yeah,
dude,
for
and
sure.
I always love to hear when people say they're using the podcast as like a resource like that, listening to older episodes or to get specific insight onto training. That's like makes me very psyched to hear.
It's a great podcast. I've been listening to every episode.
Oh, thanks, man. It was just one of those situations where I wanted the information, and the steel bending podcast didn't exist yet, so I had to create it.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to know how, how do people, I wanted to hear from the people that were doing it. And so it's been a really, really cool experience.
Yeah.
How about specifics on recovery and or nutrition? Do you really focus on that stuff at all, or do you just kind of
Not much, actually, especially not the nutrition part. But it's like, for me, it's when I do it the wrong way. When I start to feel that I have issues, I start to like do, stuff for blood flow and maybe baths,
Yeah.
and like when I do the minimal padding, then between the bends I do contrast baths,
Okay, cool.
so that when I come into a really hard minimal pad bend, I come straight from the baths.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's cool. So, you said as of recently you're getting into snapping.
Yeah.
What are you liking from that? What are you getting out of the snapping? And just talk me through some your snapping experience, because it's obviously something I love to do.
Yeah, well, I think it's just that it's one other challenge within this sport. It feels incredible when it snaps. And also like conditioning of the hands, really good for all kinds of bending. And like since I have a poor leg crush for the horseshoe, it's gonna be great if I do a lot of snapping with the openings on top of the leg.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Do you
And I
have
want
any
what?
specific goals on for snapping? Is there a particular bar you want to snap, or?
Well, at least a 8.8 bolt for the Horrido.
Yeah,
I guess,
definitely.
but I don't know how far away that is. Probably a couple of months.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think like it seems like people that are motivated and strong, obviously you're strong enough. Like I could see you really taking to it quickly and becoming very fast very quickly. It's been interesting. Have you seen the graphs that I've been posting of on the steel shredder for the basically the snapping that took place for the Usain Bolt off last year versus this year, and just the difference in times?
Oh yeah, I saw that.
It's
It's
been cool.
incredible.
It's just like, especially for those grade 8s, I mean, that's the same rated bolt, and we saw a 7-second change from last year to this year overall.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody cut their time down by 7 seconds, and it's so the evolution of the technique, and I guess maybe just the the level of intensity people are bringing to the snap is all changing. It's pretty neat to just look at those metrics like that.
Yeah, it's incredible.
How have you
And
felt like about how the sport has evolved since I mean, you've been around for a few years now. So what's it been like to watch it, get popular and not as popular, and new people come and do hard stuff, and what's it been like just being around?
It's been a lot of fun and really interesting to see it grow, because like I said, when I started 2018, it felt like it wasn't even a sport. Like it was so slow, like really low participation in it, and now it's of course a lot more fun.
Mhm.
So it's great.
And how about just like the evolution and skill development, like just where, in 2018, people probably weren't snapping reds quickly, right? And bending, like
No,
how how has it been seeing like the speed in which people develop, probably because of the access to skill on YouTube and, Instagram?
it's a huge difference. Like I remember there was only, I think it was only one active bender in Sweden by that time, because David was not doing too much bending
Right.
at the time. And he was like one of the best bodybuilders Sweden ever had. Like he was huge. And he was bending like 8 and 9 millimeters of cold rolled steel, and maybe, I don't know if he bent 10.9 bolt or 8.8 bolt, but he was like around that level. And for
Wow.
me, as like not a big guy at all, not a strong guy at all, seeing him like kind of struggle with 8.8 bolt, that's like, then you figure, how the fuck could I ever do that? But now people are doing it. People
Yeah.
are not monsters.
Yeah.
It's actually bending some really, really hard steel.
Yeah. Technique over everything, I guess, it's
Yeah,
like really makes
and
a difference.
also like the specific strength.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Now, have you ever I don't know of Sweden's geography at all. So have you ever met up with David in real life to do any bending or training, or?
Sadly, no.
Oh,
I
okay.
would really like to do it, but the problem is that um, David and Siamak lives in like Örebro. It's probably like a 6-7 hour
Oh, okay.
drive for me.
Not close. Yeah.
And then Tom uh, Lennox,
Yep.
he lives even further away.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I'm like living in the north, and they live down south.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, hopefully one day, maybe you guys
yeah, for
can
sure.
all get together.
Yeah, it will be really fun.
Yeah. Yeah, there's people even in over here on the East Coast. I haven't met up with anyone. Tom Flesher's the only person I've met from the podcast, outside of the podcast, and that's just because he happened to be doing the same strongman event that I did a couple months ago. But it was great to meet up in person, and I hope I get to do some bending with some of the guys that I've connected through the podcast.
Yeah.
Um, All right, let's talk about horseshoe goals. I mean, that's, you're an incredible horseshoe bender. Every
Thank
time
you.
you post another horseshoe, it's like, it looks so big to me. It's just
Yeah,
incredible. You
yeah,
hearted one that I remember I was talking with Dave and Josh. I was just like, did you guys see the size of the horseshoe that Anton just hearted? It was incredible. So what's the goals for the horseshoes?
um I guess I have a lot of like horseshoe goals, but like the most concrete one, or is to get on the top 20 list.
Nice.
And the shoe that I probably gonna use to get on the list is either the SSP 000 or the SSP 5.
Okay.
So one is like a really big shoe, and one is a small shoe.
Gotcha.
So they're difficult in different ways.
I see.
But of course, I want to heart as big of a shoe as possible. And yeah, so when you talk like the big sizes,
Yeah.
those ones I cannot kink.
Okay.
Like my goal shoes that are big sizes, I can't kink them, and the
Yeah.
smaller ones that are my goal, I can't finish them.
Right.
So
Yeah.
so that's basically it. Probably if I could kink one of my goal shoes for the bigger sizes, I could probably finish it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so I need to work on the strength for kink on big ones and finish for the smaller ones.
Now the top 20 horseshoe list, is that just a grip board thing?
Yeah, it's a grip board thing. I think it started on the steelbenders.org like a
Okay.
long time ago, because some of the submissions are from like 2010.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's been around for a while, and like if you look at that list, like almost none of them are active
Right.
benders, and maybe 5, 8 people. The
Yeah.
rest
And it's
is
still being
from the
updated?
past. Yeah, it's being updated. It's
Oh,
the
cool.
Russian guy Ivan who
Oh,
runs
okay.
it. Yeah.
Nice. Nice. And actually, this would be a perfect time for you to talk about your horseshoe roster.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
want people to get on that thing. There's only a couple
Mm,
names on there, and it's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah, I would love as many participants as possible, because it's really easy to get on there, because the easiest shoe is no problem for any of the active vendors. And the Cathcart shoes are, as far as I know, available like in most parts of the world.
Yeah.
So that's why I decided to make it exclusively Cathcart, because otherwise you have to. It becomes like equivalent if you take the
Yeah.
Stancro. Yeah. So
It makes sense to keep it the one company. Yeah.
yeah,
So guys, so Anton has a roster. It's a 5 minute or less bend, all Cathcart
yeah,
horseshoes. Varying from very, very easy to very, very hard. The very straightforward directions he has on a grip board post, and he could send that to you if you're interested. And let's see who's on there. Anton himself is on there, obviously.
yeah.
Bulldog Marty.
Mhm. Two
Uh,
Russian guys, and
yeah,
then Karl August Merz.
yes, yes. Another guy I need to get on the podcast eventually.
Yeah, for sure.
I
He's
had
an
him scheduled,
incredible
but one
dude.
time I think something came up for me, unfortunately. So I'll get him back.
Okay.
But yeah, seriously, guys. I mean, it's I got some shoes. I'm gonna get on there soon. I encourage everybody to get on this roster. It's really, really cool.
Yeah.
So anything else you want to add about that?
Not really, but the rules, if you compare it to the other list, is a little bit more gentle, because I allow like a thicker padding, so it becomes more flexible, because depending on what style you use, thicker pads will help a lot when you bend
Yeah,
shoes.
right, right, right. And there's sort of like your ranking depends on your amount of padding you use and whether or not you use like a leg pad, right?
Yeah, exactly. But also always the harder shoe will place higher up.
Yeah, yeah. So if you want to edge out someone that did the same
Yeah.
shoe as you could. So how does that work actually? So does time trump padding or?
No time. I don't take time into consideration.
Oh,
It's
okay.
only the amount of wrapping and whether you use leg pad or no.
Okay, but it has to be done in 5 minutes or less, right?
Yes.
Got it. Okay, so it's just depending on padding to edge
Yeah.
someone out. Very cool. All right. Well, your name, what's your name on Facebook again? It's just your name, right?
Yes.
Okay, so Anton Siden, look it up,
Yes.
get on the horseshoe roster, meet me there.
Yeah.
And obviously, people that are watching can see your incredible display of all your bending
Yeah.
materials behind you. You have one
Yes.
of the coolest looking setups I think I've ever seen.
Thank
So
you,
tell me
Cody.
about how you built up your insane bending workshop there.
Well, like right now I'm sitting in my gym, and this like shelf, I made it myself. And then I just order a bunch of horseshoes.
It
And
looks
then
so
there's
cool.
some bolts and whatnot in there. And I have stuff laying around in, yeah, all over the place, like a few long bars. And yeah,
Yep. Nice.
like
All
I have
right.
one bar 80 millimeters wide and 10 millimeters thick, a long bar
Yeah.
that I'm trying to bend. No one has ever bent that as far as I'm concerned.
Wow.
I have gotten it flexing, but no kink just yet. Like it's pretty long. It's probably 51 or 52 inches long.
Wow.
So
It's
I
very long.
guess, yeah. So it flexes a lot, but it does not go completely.
You did a Goliath, right? Or no?
Yeah, I've done
Yeah.
a cut down Goliath.
Oh
Uh,
wow.
I think at 45,
Oh, cool.
46 inches.
How tall are you?
I'm 6'1", 6'0",
Okay, cool.
something like that.
Yeah. And what do you weigh? Like 190? 180?
200
200?
probably.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's like some people you can tell, and then some
yeah,
people it's very hard to tell, you know what
yeah,
I mean? Like,
yeah. I should probably be at 190.
yeah, okay.
Like I've been putting on some unnecessary weight
Yeah, it's the
these
Christmas,
last
the
years.
holidays.
Yeah, 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 for sure.
But my problem with the Goliath is I was studying Mike Rogowski's band of that because he's a shorter, I'm 5'7", I think he's maybe 5'5".
Mm.
But the length of that thing to handle it is just so difficult to try to kink
Yeah,
it over my knee. It's that is a bar I will celebrate if I finally ever take that thing down because it's a very hard, very awkward bar to do. It just
but have you
doesn't fit
tried?
my body.
Have you tried kinking it under the leg?
I have because I've seen Don and Josh and really strong people use that method, but I can't feel like I don't feel like I have any strength in that position. I don't know. I guess I got to
All right.
study guys that have done it, maybe drop my butt lower to get some leverage or something because I get in that position and I'm like, okay, well, where does the strength come from here?
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. Well, I guess it's just like you said. It's different body. Uh, how do you say it? Uh,
Different body types and
yeah,
body
yeah,
structure, you know.
yeah. Because when I grip a Goliath bar at 48 inches or what, and then it's like a really good power position for me under the leg. Like
Oh, okay.
it does not feel like I have to use any strength to kink
Oh,
it.
wow.
That's how
Yeah,
it feels like.
that's neat. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm almost tempted to cut it down a little bit just to see if I can handle it a little more comfortable. Obviously, it'd be
Yeah,
a more difficult bend, but I might be able to just maneuver it easier because I
yeah,
just feel like I'm stretched out the whole
yeah.
time.
That might be easier for you.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're gonna start wrapping up. I'll take you through
Mhm.
the rapid fire section here.
Yes,
So, first question is favorite thing to bend.
it's horseshoes or long bars.
Okay, cool. And how about hardest thing to bend for you as far as material?
Stainless for sure.
Oh yeah.
I'm
Yeah, I've
really
only
bad at.
tried one of Giorgio's bars, and that the crush on that thing was like
Yeah, and also
unbearable.
the sweep is really boring on the stainless bars. It's the
Yeah.
worst.
You did a really big bar for him, braced, right? Like his biggest.
Yeah, the biggest one. I don't think he has it anymore in stock,
Oh,
but
really?
it's let's see if I can find it. Well, whatever. I think
Yeah.
it's 10 millimeters, so
Okay.
it's a
Yeah.
little bit thicker than 3/8,
Yeah. Wow.
and then it was 7 inches. So it
Okay.
was like quite a bit harder than a 12.9 bolt.
Yeah.
But that's like 1 year ago, I think.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
did
that's too
that,
bad
and
he doesn't have it anymore.
yeah, he updated his bars, I
Okay.
think.
Have to take a look.
But I cut it down to, I don't know, 6.5 6
Ooh,
inches,
yeah,
and I could only get the kink. I could
yeah,
not like get past the sweep. So
yeah,
it's a really hard. It was a really really hard bar.
yeah, definitely. Did you cut down any 12.9s? Yeah, strong.
I have bent it at 6 inches
Yeah,
also a year ago,
yeah,
around Christmas last year.
okay.
But when I do like really hard bends braced like that, I
Yeah.
tweak my left wrist
Okay.
really badly. Like,
Oh, shoot.
so I am scared of doing it.
Uh-huh.
But I'm tempted to like ease into it and then maybe try a cert attempt at 6 inches.
Cool. Yeah.
But I have not. I'm only certed at 7 inches.
Uh-huh. Nice. Yeah, I want to order some more of those to get in
Yeah, I
the
only have one
wire.
left.
Yeah. I was thinking about putting the word out to see if anyone has any here in the States.
Yeah.
All right. How about strongest bending style?
Horseshoes, long bars, or
Nice,
maybe yeah, horseshoes is the strongest for
for
sure.
sure. And how about weakest style?
Weakest style is probably underhand, reversed, or barehand. Like
Yeah,
those three styles I'm not developed in at all.
yeah, yeah. How's reverse on the wrist? Does that give you any trouble?
Not so much. A little bit maybe, but
Yeah.
it's okay.
Okay. All right. How about something outside of bending and strength training that you enjoy? Some other hobby that's a passion of yours?
I really like welding projects. Like
Oh,
if I
cool.
get an idea of something to build or create in metal, I love
Yeah.
to do it.
Is that what you
Uh,
do? Are you a welder by trade or is
yeah,
it?
yeah, I'm a welder.
Oh,
So,
cool.
but I don't do anything close to what I would like to do. Like the stuff that I do on my spare time welding is completely different to my work.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
very like I learn a lot every time I do a project on my own. So it's a
Yeah.
lot of fun.
Did you weld the shelf together that's behind you or is that
Uh,
screws and stuff? I can't tell.
the shelves are wooden, and then the
Okay.
frame is metal,
Nice.
steel. I mean,
All right. How about what's the one bend that's gotten away so far? Something that you've attempted and you just haven't been able to finish.
hmm. I feel like that's the SSP 000. I have finished it once, but like not in one session, and I've tried it many times, and it felt so good during the kink, it felt so good during the sweep, and then just the final degrees I can't do it. So that's the one that's got away. I
Jeez.
feel like
All right. And who's the strongest person you know? It's this one always throws people for a loop, but it's totally subjective. So it's your opinion.
it depends. If you say that I would say Tom Lennox Fingalson. You know,
Yeah.
I have never met him, but that dude is just crazy.
Yeah.
You know,
Seems
he
that way.
he contacted me on a Swedish training forum, like strength
Uh-huh.
forum, and because I was doing a lot of grippers at that time, and then he was curious and asked which grippers he was gonna buy. So then he bought I think he bought a Captain of Crush #2, and he was just repping it, within days. And then he ordered the #3, and he closed it first attempt really easily. And yeah, he just went from no bending ability at all to bending 12.9 double overhand in 1 year. So
Yeah,
he's
it's
a
pretty
madman.
incredible.
Yeah,
Incredible. And a gold now recently
yeah,
is
exactly.
out of control. All right. How about best piece of advice you were ever given? This could be about strength and steel bending or just life in general.
That's a hard one. I don't know actually. But I guess it's like, do what you want, surround yourself with positive, good people, and life is gonna be a lot more pleasant that way.
There you go. And how about the funniest reaction a person has had when they find out you have a dungeon full of steel bending materials?
Well, I haven't had so many interactions like that, but one thing was that my boss at work heard it, and then he said, like, you gotta throw a competition at work. uh, and that was when I was really kind of new into bending, but I did it anyway. I took like the steel I had. I did not have as much variety as I had now. And
Yeah.
then it's mostly older dudes at my work.
Yeah.
And those who are brave enough, they tried it, bending double overhand. And it was a lot of fun.
Did anyone bend anything besides you?
Yeah, I think the best bends that they did was 6mm square hot rolled at
Cool.
down to 5 inches.
Wow. Yeah.
So pretty good.
Yeah, definitely. That's cool.
Mhm.
All right. And in closing, as someone that's listened to most or all episodes, do you have any suggestions of who you'd like to see me get on that hasn't been on?
Yeah,
Or
it's the one we talked about, Carl
Okay,
Mertz.
definitely.
Then I would really like to hear some of the Russian guys, but yeah, probably will not happen because the language barrier.
Yeah, I mean,
But
I'm up to do some more translated, like written interviews, like I did with Kirill and
yeah,
some of the other guys. I'd probably be game to do that again. But yeah, it's really difficult if someone's not fluid in English to have any type of flow to an interview. It's very tough.
mhm.
But those guys are incredible, obviously.
But have you seen the guy? I think his name is Andre. He's quite tall. He's really skinny, and he bends bigger shoes than me, and he hearts way more difficult shoes than I do.
Oh wow, send them
So
to me. I don't know.
yeah, that's probably my biggest. Like, he's the one who inspires me the most
Cool.
in horseshoe bending, because when I see something that he's done, I'm always like amazed, and I think he really shows that it's possible.
Yeah. Wow. Cool.
Yeah, and
That's
he's
great.
also on the he is on the top 20
Oh,
list.
nice. Oh, good. All right. How about tips and advice for beginner benders?
Ooh. Yeah, like when I started bending, I only bent double overhand. So like the advice would be to try like every style, not necessarily because you need to develop every like strength in all angles or whatnot, but just that it's so much fun. Like all
Yeah.
bending styles are so much fun.
Yeah.
Because I'm not doing bending to get strong. I do it because I really love bending.
Yeah.
And then the strength that comes with it is just like a bonus, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. It's something I was thinking about this when I was thinking about the episode is like, when I first started, reverse was hard, so I didn't like it. And I was also viewing bending as like a universal term, like I bend steel. So it's like, it didn't make sense to me that like, why would I do a style where I can't bend as big of stuff as I can with this other style being double overhand? And it took like some maturity within it or just some time in it. And maybe just like my shoulders hurting from double overhand where I had the desire to do double under and reverse. But it's like, I'd say for beginners, like don't look at them all the same, because it's like a black diamond trail snowboarding versus like a beginner trail. It's like reverse is meant to be hard. You're not going to be able to do the stuff you could do double overhand reverse. It's just
Exactly.
the case.
Yeah.
And I just, But yeah. All right. And we already mentioned your social media. It's just your name, and I'll tag you in the post. Is there you're on Facebook too, right? If people want to get a hold of you.
Yeah, I'm on
Okay.
Facebook also. Facebook and Instagram
Right. So if you
and
guys have
Gripboard.
questions about the horseshoe roster, hit Anton up, and that's it. Anything else you want to say in closing?
No, I think I'm good.
Great. Anton, thanks so much, man. I've been wanting to do this one a long time, and
Yeah.
it was a lot of fun talking to you.
Thank you. I had a great time.
All right. Have a good rest of the day. Bye bye.
Yeah, same to you. Bye bye.